Human, can you explain what lying is?
Lying? No, never heard of it.
We feel like we just figured it out, and you're doing it right now.
You're just being paranoid.
We also feel like we just figured out gaslighting.
The end of the three-body problem poses a fundamental issue. If humanity can't progress technologically, how do they defeat an enemy with a multi-century scientific lead that can see everything they do? Cixin Liu answers this question by giving the Trisolarans a weakness. They are biologically incapable of lying, and thus have never engaged in the twisted logic of humanity's games of deception. If the Trisolarans were put into the Princess Bride and handed the 2 poison chalices, they'd just drink the one that didn't have the poison in it. And if you told them you swapped the cups, mind-blowing. So the whole of the Dark Forest, although told from many different characters' points of view, is effectively told from one, the Trisolarans. We can see everything humanity does, but their intent is a mystery. This is what makes the Dark Forest compelling. It's not a traditional fantastical sci-fi or a sociological experiment. It's a mystery novel, powered by reader speculation. Red herrings, twists, turns, everything exists to mislead and trick the reader before the reveal. And not just one reveal, but 5 or 6. The Wallfacers are humanity's answer to Trisolaran weakness. 4 individuals with wide-ranging authority instructed to do whatever they'd like, with the intent of defeating the Trisolaran menace. During the novel, we see each Wallfacer's actions, how they speak to their troops, what work they research, their personal relationships, but their internal thoughts, their actual intent, is never revealed. Friedrich Tyler is the first Wallfacer. His entire plan is basically to pretend to be friends with the Trisolarans, get close to them, and then once he's close to their ships, blow them up. The evidence is all written in the pages black and white. Research on self-destructing swarms, water on Saturn, connections with human sympathizers of the Trisolarans. It's a one-dimensional plan, but it teaches the reader how the mysteries of the book work. More importantly, it teaches us about the Wallbreakers. The Wallbreakers have been assigned to solve the mystery, and they appear out of nowhere in the middle of the book, approach their Wallfacer and state, "Friedrich Tyler, I am your Wallbreaker." And this is Cixin Liu's equivalent of Sherlock Holmes gathering everyone in the library and explaining his grand theory. After Friedrich Tyler, each time a Wallbreaker appeared in the book, I would pause, I'd stop reading, and come up with a scheme in my head of what I thought the Wallfacer was up to. And that's how this book is supposed to be experienced. You should be guessing, because with each wrong guess, you learn the rules a little better, and you get a little closer to the next one, and more importantly, the grand mystery at the end. The second Wallfacer is Ray Diaz. This dude's scheme rocks, and I actually think the book owes him more respect than he gets. He rises above the standard tactics of defeat the enemy, and instead goes down the path of mutually assured destruction. His scheme teaches the reader that we need to think past defeating an enemy and see the world more cosmically. Our last regular Wallfacer is Bill Hines. This dude goes full old-school sci-fi mind control, and he represents an entirely different camp. The camp that asks the question, what if humanity can't win? The fun part about this guy's work is that even when he's discovered, even when his plot is unraveled, there is no way of knowing who he got to, and how far his scheme has propagated. We still haven't talked about the protagonist, and we'll get to him, but first we need to talk about a little of the plot. In any mystery novel, the resolution of the book always revolves around solving one of the mysteries. Despite being about a 400-year build-up to an interplanetary war, most of this book takes place in the first 100 years. It's a signal to readers that a solution won't come from scientific progress. It'll come from unraveling a mystery. In the back half of the book, a couple centuries down the road, our main character has been in cryofreeze, and he emerges into the future, and he's told that human starships are unbeatable, that victory is inevitable, and that most importantly, the mysteries of the cosmos don't matter. So instead of anticipation for a great battle, Cixin Liu leaves a pit in our stomachs. A terrible sense of fear that we already know how this battle is going to turn out. Either this book is about to break a fundamental rule of mystery writing, or humanity is about to take the biggest L in its history. And it does. And without an army, without a means to defend itself, humanity turns its sights to its last wall-facer. Luo Ji is an astrophysicist. He's the target of many assassination attempts, and he's a wall-facer without a plan. We're told again and again that this is the man the Trisolarans are afraid of. They use targeted DNA diseases, assassin viruses, straight-up hacked cars. But the thing is, we're also allowed into Luo Ji's mind. And when we're inside it, we discover that this wall-facer, this leader of humanity's defenses, has no plan at all. It's exciting. For once, we're discovering the mystery right alongside the character. Our protagonist only has one clue as to what makes him so formidable. He suspects that somewhere in his research, somewhere in his understanding of the universe, lies a terrible secret and the answer to Trisolaran defeat. It's the central mystery of the book, the murderer with the knife, the resolution that defeats an unbeatable opponent. We're only given one piece of evidence. Luo Ji casts a spell on a nearby solar system, and a century later, that solar system is completely annihilated. The Dark Forest is almost 20 years old, and the downside of age and fame is spoilers. Before I read the book, I had heard the Dark Forest theory explained to me on 3 separate occasions. So the great mystery of this novel was spoiled to me by the 1/3 mark. I wouldn't dare peel back the mask of this story here. Instead, I'll just say this. The novel follows the rules, and identifying the murderer, so to speak, does lie at the heart of something akin to victory. There's a lot more to this book than the mysteries. There's whole stories of intrigue, conspiracy, and multi-century plans. But this is also a book set in wartime. There's not a lot of room for these characters to grow and change. It's more about who they already are and what actions they take to form the future. Our protagonist starts as something of a nihilist. He finally finds happiness, then he has it ripped away as a weapon to force him to perform his role as a wall-facer. It's not really an arc, it's more of a motivation. My favorite section of this book is called The Battle of Darkness. It has almost nothing to do with the overarching mystery, and more to do with the painful sacrifices and cruel realities of space travel during wartime. The best conversation in the book is one that's had without a single word spoken. Just soldiers coming to terms with an unavoidable truth. Most sci-fi is built around wonder, exploring the cosmos, extraordinary technologies, alien species. This book isn't that. This is a hard science book that asks the reader to come along, to observe the evidence of the story as an impartial observer, and to unwind the mystery just a page before the book reveals it. It's rare to read a mystery that isn't about a murder. It's even rarer to be able to speculate on the nature of the universe. But it's something special when your speculation directly changes the tides of a war. So give it a read, delve into the mysteries, and see if you can solve those mysteries for yourself. Thanks for watching.